No bye, no aloha.
Black Rose fucking Phantoms.
All right, what's going on, man?
What's going on, dude?
Not much, brother. Just happy to be here, man.
Yeah, dude, we haven't hung out in fucking like 10 years.
Easily, man. It's been about that long, man, since we used to tour with you guys back when you were still in Left Alone, man.
So what have you guys been up to in the last 10 years?
A whole lot, man. We since then, I believe we put out 2 records. We been touring, went to Europe. We're currently working on another album, stuff like that.
When did you go to Europe?
We went to Europe like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2-3 years ago.
What were your thoughts on Europe versus touring America?
You know what? I definitely have to say the music scene is much more different. Like I don't know, man. Like it's as far as psychobilly goes, it's alive and well out there, man. Like it's not like it is here or how it was in LA, like in the early 2000s, where it was like super like booming and stuff, and then it kind of died out. Out there, it's
more of just like a straight hold across the board. I never toured
definitely
Europe in a psychobilly band, only with Left Alone.
Gotcha.
So, Left Alone, like in that like rock and roll rancid kind of punk, like late 90s
Sure.
/ ska kind of that kind of stuff out there. I feel like, but just in general, I feel like Europe appreciates music just more than America.
Very much so, man. I think all in all, I mean, obviously, just going to Europe in itself is a treat, but being able to go out there, play music, meet some rad people, I probably have to say my only downside to it. I wasn't too impressed with the food, to be honest with you.
Really?
Man. Yeah, I was a little.
What were they feeding you?
I mean,
were they feeding you at the venues?
No, actually.
Really?
One of them did give us.
Yeah, they gave us, what was that? Goulash or something.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like a type of soup. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Interesting, because I remember the food being a little weird. I was vegan
Sure.
back then, and the drummer at the time was lactose intolerant, so he was like, "I'm with you, man.
Sure.
Like whatever you're eating, we're eating." And but they would. I remember the venues really hooking it up on like, were they giving you per diems or no?
Mm-mm.
Really? Oh god.
Yeah, like most of the stuff, like we pretty much had to go on our own. Like we eat like a lot of those, what are they called? Donors or whatever, right?
Yeah, like yeah, they were pretty good. Like doner kebab.
Okay. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Where it's up on the
Yeah,
up on the
it's
pole.
up on the stick and they're cutting it.
Yeah, we're eating
Love
a whole
that.
lot of those, man. Those are pretty good.
Yeah,
what
I was able to do that with falafel though.
Yeah, sure.
Same, same stand.
Did
but
you try that? We did try it, right? Remember
Yeah,
it
we
was
did.
green?
Mhm.
Yeah.
so
Yes,
what?
we
Which countries did you hit?
Well, we went to we were in Germany. We also went to Amsterdam as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude. So we're just there. Those two. We mainly were around Germany, like Berlin, Hamburg, Bremen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like St. Pauli, like those places.
How are you guys getting around?
We rented a car, man. We were rolling around like in
car.
a yeah. We were.
And you drove yourselves?
Yeah, we drove ourselves.
Whoa.
We got around with a Google Translate.
Damn.
Yeah,
do you need a? I guess I was a spoiled little baby. I was lucky, I guess. Because I didn't know you could just do that. Last time I went to Japan, we wanted to ride these Mario Kart things,
Mhm.
which is just this fun little thing you can do around the town for like a couple hours, and you have to have an international driver's license in
Oh,
order
wow.
to do that.
Sure.
Which is $20 at any like what do they call AAA, you know? And so me and my buddy went and did that, and we go, okay, here's our license. And they go, okay, we just take a picture and $20. Okay, here you go.
Yeah,
so no
that's
big
it.
deal. But you didn't even need that?
No. We
Crazy.
we literally just picked up the car over at like what was it, like a Hertz or whatever rental car service it is and stuff
Was it
like
at
that.
the airport?
Yeah,
It
at
was
the airport.
Yeah, it was directly at the airport.
Yeah, like the car was already there waiting for us and everything, man. So. we just-
And how long was the tour?
well, we were out there like 2.5 weeks, 3
Yeah,
weeks.
Like
Nice.
almost 3 weeks. We
Nice.
were out there.
So fun, man. I haven't been back to Europe since I toured, and it's been one of my goals ever since I moved back home to Hawaii. Kind of just got reestablished, and I was like, all right. I mean, honestly, I had so much fun touring. Don't get me wrong, but I was the most broke and skinny I've ever been in my life. And it's
Yeah.
fine. I mean, I look back and I'm like, man, I look great. And then I'm like, oh yeah, because I was starving. But
Yeah, sure, man.
yeah. So we must have played together before I even joined Left Alone. I was in Hell Caminos was touring out there, and we played at the Knitting Factory. That had to be 06 or 07.
Definitely.
It had to be.
Mhm.
So you guys have been together for well
Yeah.
over a decade.
Yeah, man. We
That's way more than that.
yeah, we started in 2002, man.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we started in 2002. Our very first tour was like a 3-week tour with Necromantics, all along the West Coast.
And what year was that?
2003, summer of
Damn.
2003.
See, that's the
It's been a long
thing.
ass time.
Sorry, what's that?
It's been a long ass time.
That's
Yeah,
the thing
man.
about being from LA. You just have such this advantage to, like, oh yeah, we were a band for a year and then we toured
Yeah,
with
man.
the Necromantics for 3 weeks. What? Like, no. To be fair, Psychobilly at that time was just cracking hard.
It really was, man. I mean, you know, because then we've gone out a couple times on the road with Necromantics. And the last time we went on the road with them, I want to say was maybe like 4 years ago, somewhere around there. And we hit a lot of the places that we originally went with them. And the comparison as far as the crowd back in 03 to versus like, you know, a couple years ago, it was like night and day, man. Like we were playing like, we played like, for example, over at the Catalyst in Santa Cruz. We played in the big room there, and this last time when we went with Necromantics, we played in the small room with them, and
Ooh.
even that was like, it was, you know, I mean, and not taking anything away from Necromantics, they're an excellent band.
No,
man.
of course.
They're
It's
one
not,
of our
it's
favorites.
not their fault.
Yeah,
They're
it-
still doing the same thing they've always been
exactly.
doing.
Yeah, I mean, we were. I mean, you know, we're always stoked anytime any band brings us out to anywhere. So big thanks to them always. But yeah, you know, it just goes to show, you know, like the scene it fluctuates. You know.
Yeah, they were just out here last year, almost. They were out here exactly 11 months ago,
Mm-hmm.
almost to the day, and it was great, ripping
Nice.
shows.
Sure, man.
So, you guys haven't seen Anna Bananas yet.
No.
That's where you play tomorrow. Well, when this comes out, that's where you played last week.
Yeah.
But so how was that show at Anna's?
Oh, man, killer.
They had a really great turnout, and you know, it was Sailor Jerry Fest, so that's a thing that a buddy Josh and Jason Miller put on once a year.
Mhm.
Josh is a singer from Black Square,
Oh, gotcha.
and they do it once a year for the last, I think, 3 or 4 years. They did Necromantics 1 year. They did Agrolites 1 year. Shit, I'm forgetting who they did the other year. My bad. My brain's dumb.
Oh,
But-
good, man.
Yeah, it's a really fun thing. We should next year we should get you guys out for it, because
Dude,
I would
love
be
it, man.
down to just get you guys out for the weekend and be like, you know, what can we do? You know
Word,
what I mean?
man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
dude, we'd love to.
I feel like that's the thing. We'll see how this weekend goes, but there's this band, I don't know if you've heard of them at all, complete different scene, but they're called Red City Radio, and they came out and just had these really fun shows, and I feel like if you keep coming to Hawaii is the type of market that if you show it love, they will love you back super hard. Like Jesse Wagner has been out here. He came out the first time with Vic from the Slackers,
Oh,
and
wow.
they did a show here at Downbeat,
Sure.
and it went off. And then he came back with he had already been here once with the Agrolites, I believe. Then he came back solo, just him, came back with the Agrolites, came back solo. And every time, just like packed house, it's really fun, you know?
Sure.
And I feel like those type of people that just keep coming back to Hawaii, although you're going to, you know, maybe you break even
Mhm.
on a beautiful vacation.
Yeah, man.
I mean, how many people get to go to Hawaii for free and all they have to do is play a couple shows?
Yeah, right. Like it was like a no-brainer, man. Like
Yeah.
you know, like when Kat reached out to us and was like, "Hey, you know, would you guys be interested in coming to the island?" It's like, dude, of course, man. Like, let's work something out, and so we did, and here we are, man.
Yeah,
You know,
and
it's great.
just to be quite honest, you know, you guys are basically out here on a break-even deal. Like
Mhm.
anything on top of that's going to be icing. But it's
Word.
like, can you come out for just plane tickets alone, and we'll find you places to crash? Not everybody's always going to be down for that. But any bands out there that are looking to do that, man, we are ready to bring them out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
yeah, no, definitely.
anybody who's down to just come have a good time, meet some people, play some place that they've never played before, and enjoy just a beautiful location.
Yeah, man. Like it's been like super surreal, man. Because even like it's like, okay, it's like, you know, getting flown out, you know, place to stay, you know, and we didn't have to bring any equipment either. So that for
Mhm.
us was just like, dude, I mean, what more do we want? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like, dude, I was
Yeah,
like,
pretty much.
Like it's rad, man. So
So I know. So the last thing that you have available on iTunes and Spotify right now is that country album you did, right?
yeah.
You don't play it too much live when you do your 3-piece thing, right? I
Correct.
understand that. But how did that come about?
Well, pretty much, we originally came up with the idea because one night we were just hanging out talking, and on every album we've put out, there's always been like 1 or 2 country ballads, and those songs have always done super well. Like people are always like, hey, you know what? We love all the other stuff, but this song right here, or you know that song right there, like really like stands out. And so we were talking one night, and I mean, we grew up listening to a lot of that, like country roots music, you know, like honky tonk, you know, western stuff. You know, a lot of that stuff we grew up listening to, and so we're like, well, why don't we put out an album that's just those songs, or like those type of style songs? And yeah, so we did it. It was a fun project. I mean, you know, he was really the mastermind behind that whole album, you know what I mean? But it's done great for us. It got us on the bill with like other bands that we probably never would have played with if we didn't kind of go that way.
Like who?
Bob Wayne, he's one of them. He's yeah, he's a great friend of ours now.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so he's definitely one. We've known the guys from Goddamn Gallows for
Hell
years,
yeah,
man.
Hell
Like,
Camino's toured with them, or
yeah.
well, we toured almost alongside them. Kind of, you know how that goes.
Yeah, yeah,
Sometimes
sure.
you see people's posters on the road, and you're kind of following them, or they're following you, and
sure.
yeah, that was fun. Those guys are rad.
Yeah, and I mean, we got Mikey Classic on one of the songs on the
Nice.
album. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we go way back with those guys. Played with Jake Orvis, so that was really cool too. He's an amazing musician and stuff like that. So we played Muddy Roots out in Tennessee a couple years back.
We played it with Lucky Tub.
Yeah, Lucky Tub
He's,
as well.
Ernest Tubb's the descendant.
Nice,
Yeah, so-
man.
Yeah, so I mean, chances
And that
are
was all just because you guys did that thing.
exactly, man.
That's cool, man. I really like it a lot. I remember,
man.
yeah, Kat was telling me, okay, we're gonna bring these guys out, and he was talking about potentially getting some metal bands to open.
Sure.
And then I said, I was like, dude, have you listened to the last album? Like, I don't know if they sound like that anymore, man. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not sure, like, because I didn't go as far as to look into, like, you know, I'm not gonna go YouTube live shows and shit. I just, like, based off the last album, I was like. And then I don't know if he asked you or he was like, nah, that was kind of like a side project thing, or not a side project, but it was like an offshoot thing. And I was like, well,
Yeah.
fuck,
Yeah.
I like it, man.
Yeah.
I've been listening to it a bunch.
Thanks, man.
I dig it.
Yeah, he was like, hey, dude, he's like, quick question. He's like, are you guys doing the country stuff? And I was like, well, do you want us to? I'm like, dude, I was like, we kind of need more people to pull off that sound.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like,
for sure.
I mean, we could do a couple of songs as a 3-piece. I was like, but it's not really going to translate so well over. You know, it kind of loses its dynamic if you don't have, like, you know, the mandolin,
Mhm.
you know, the
Absolutely.
lap steel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, you know, it's been a really good record for us. A lot of people really dig it. A lot of people actually want another one. So we're toying around with the idea that maybe after we drop this new album, maybe we'll do another one.
Well, you could do like a Mariachi El Bronx kind of a
Right.
side deal.
Yeah, man. We're talking about doing like I mean, no one really puts out CDs all that much anymore, but doing
Yeah,
like a
fuck
double,
CDs.
like a double disc kind of thing.
You
know?
could pretend you could pretend that you released it on CD and just say that. You know
right,
what I
like
mean?
do like a
the
like
double feature.
Yeah, like 6 songs, you know, Psych
Dude.
Louis, 6 songs, you know,
I
country.
don't think I would probably do another full length because this one took about 3 years to complete, so I probably don't want to do it.
Really, it took you 3 years was it because you were writing in a completely different style, or
That and because I had to learn how to play a bunch of instruments because
that's so fucking cool though. I think that's cool as fuck, man. Like I retuned my guitar one time because I have a country band and I got a steel player, right? And I was like, how do you tune your steel? And he's like, I tune it like this. And I was like, okay. So I just retuned a guitar and I had a little, you know, finger slide,
Sure.
and I just kind of sat on my lap. I gave it like 5 minutes and I was just like, fuck this, man. Like,
Yeah.
I know the instruments I know. My brain's too old and dumb.
Yeah, man. Like when he got his lab steel, and he's like, dude, he's like, check this shit out. He's like, fuck with this, and I was like, what the fuck is this, dude? I was like, I mean, the action alone, I was like,
It's ridiculous.
fucking
Yeah,
Christ,
it's a
man.
different monster. So how long were you playing around with the lap steel before you
You know
got a
what?
little comfortable?
I was completely clueless about the instrument itself. Like I fucked with different tunings until I found like something that kind of suited me, because I was trying to like fuck with it. I really wanted it to sound like a pedal steel, but I realized that I wasn't gonna accomplish that.
Mm-hmm.
So I just like I pretty much just said fuck it and just went with the Hawaiian tuning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just went traditional on it.
Do
and
you
I just said,
know?
fuck it.
Do you know the history of the lap steel?
Somewhat.
That it comes from Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. It's originally a Hawaiian instrument.
That's exactly where I was gonna go with this next thing. Why don't you guys come out here and record your fucking thing?
Fuck, that would be badass.
Let
man.
me and a couple of my buddies gang up with you guys.
That would be sick.
That
man.
wouldn't be.
I don't know. I mean,
that
I'm
wouldn't be
just
a
trying
bad
to like.
idea.
It'd be fun, man.
Yeah, I think so
because
too.
you know
dude.
what, like, I know, like, so you told me like the drummer that you have playing with you now, he's just filling in for these gigs, but
Mhm.
he's played with you before.
Well, he was actually our drummer, not on the Betrayers album, but the album before that,
Mhm.
Among Dead Men. He was actually. He's actually been drumming for Black Rose Phantoms for years, man. Like he was our drummer, Mark Death, the Mad
Yeah.
Trucker.
Just not currently.
Yeah, he's partying in the back.
Yeah. The
But yeah-
Wenatchee shredder.
But yeah, so so it's great to have him with us again. I mean, we were talking on our way up here, and it's like, dude, like it's been a couple years since we played together, but I mean, as soon as we practiced earlier, it was just like he never left, man.
Nice.
You know what I mean? So yeah, he was in the band for I want to say like 5 years, somewhere
Okay.
around there. So he was legit like Black Rose Phantoms, but he moved to Arizona, and so
Oh,
obviously-
okay.
obviously
okay.
it's kind of difficult continuing a band from states away, but
People do it.
Mhm.
I don't know exactly how. I mean, when I was in Left Alone, I all I wanted to do was live in like I was like, if I can live in Hawaii and still be in the band, but I mean that's just it would just
Yeah.
be ridiculously expensive for
Sure.
me. But our drummer at the time lived in Sacramento.
that's right.
And
I
he,
remember that.
and I was like, I was so jealous all the time or envious rather, but that he was so close that he could go home, and I was like, oh, I can't do that. You
I know, right? You got to catch a flight. He could just drive a couple hours north.
Yeah.
So
So, but you guys are like, you have no plans to shut it down, right? You're just chugging along.
no,
right?
yeah, dude. I mean, you know what? I think at this point we've been doing it for so long. We all always have this conversation with each other, and it's like we really don't ever see ourselves not doing music. And the way I see it, as long as people still want to keep hearing the songs, want to enjoy what we do, I'll still keep putting it out. Or also
Would you ever consider starting something else, or have you started anything else?
I haven't started anything else, but I've messed around with the idea of it. I mean, like, I'm really like into like hardcore and stuff like that. So
Hell yeah.
I've thought about doing like a terror style like hardcore band
Right,
or
right.
something like that.
Well,
you
yeah,
know what I
because
mean?
you guys are very metal.
Yeah.
Well, I remember on the tour that we did together, which did we decide that was like probably like 2008 or something?
I want to. Yeah, that sounds about right.
You guys were doing like some real like finger tappy,
Oh, yeah.
sweepy, like
Yeah, that's-
you were getting like real deep into that metal shit.
Yeah, that's back when we had 3 guitarists on that tour.
Oh,
man.
that's
yeah,
right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
back when we had like Kevin and Grim was still in the band, and we had Bones as well on guitar, and Mark was on that tour too. So he was the drummer at that time.
Damn.
You know what I
yeah,
mean? So-
3 guitar players.
Yeah, we're going.
You're barely a psychobilly band at that point. You're just a metal band with an upright bass.
Yeah, man, and it's like, you know what, like it got to the point because I mean, all these guys were like master shredders. All these guys are badass guitarists, and it's like, dude, it's like, don't forget, I'm still playing an upright bass up here. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like we still gotta, because they were coming up with these badass songs, and I'm like, dude, I can't even play slap bass to that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So how does that work with the style of psychobilly that you guys do is more like metal rooted than punk rooted,
Mm-hmm.
right? So who's bringing the ideas to the table? I'm assuming it's you. Is
Yeah.
that right?
Yeah, for the new album, I went more to like punk rock psychobilly more rather than like metal. It still has like metal influences, but it's more upright bass oriented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were giving us a taste last night, and I was like, yeah. See, that's what I like. That was just like some old school psychobilly, and what I feel like a lot of times is when a band. I've heard bands say this over and over. Bands I love that have progressed. They go,
Sure.
we're gonna write an album like we wrote back in the day, and then it comes out and it's some watered down shit,
Sure.
and I'm like,
It-
But that shit that you guys were that you were showing me,
Yeah.
and you were like, oh, this is just we're all drunk, and you're like, this is just rough cuts, and I was like, I like that right there.
Thanks, man.
Because I like how raw it sounded, first
Mhm.
of all, but the music itself was great.
Thanks,
I'm
man.
digging it,
Thanks,
man.
you.
So, fuck, dude, stick with that. But is anybody going to care at this point?
Right.
That's the thing. Like with any band, because I mean, punk rock itself, I'm like,
Yeah,
does
man.
anybody give a fuck?
Yeah, because it starts. I mean, like going back to like what you said, like it really does feel like almost like when bands try to recreate like an era or what their old school stuff used to sound like. It kind of almost sounds like it's like recycled songs or songs that didn't make it onto the album.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Like and it kind of.
Well, it's hard to write from your 19-year-old self.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, you know what? It's like that's where they were at, like in their lives, like at that point. You know what I mean? And it's like, dude, it's like, how are you gonna like backtrack to?
And the influence too. I mean,
exactly.
It's
Man.
so hard because I feel that big time. I'm like, I'm not influenced. First of all, I listen to when I grab my fucking iPod and I'm like, what am I gonna throw on? What did I fucking have on when I picked you guys up today? Future. Like
Yeah.
I'm not really listening to punk rock. I'm not
Sure.
really listening to psychobilly. I never really was that into metal unless it was like Motley Crue or
Sure.
Bon Jovi
Like
or
the hair metal stuff.
Van Halen or stuff in that era. I actually have been listening to a bunch of Styx in the last couple days.
Nice.
Just because that was the first concert I ever went to was
Oh
Styx.
shit, that's sick, dude.
But what are you throwing on?
I mean, these days, to be honest with you, man, because I'm really into like oldies, like gangster oldies and stuff like that. So as of lately, I've been listening a lot to Duran Jones and the Indicators.
I don't know that.
Dude, check him out, man.
I might have to.
Yeah, man. Like they're a newer band. They got like about like 2 albums out.
Oh,
But,
okay.
man,
A
like,
newer band.
Yeah, but
okay,
they have
that's
like
why
that.
I don't know it.
They
yeah.
have like that old school sound, man, which is a trip.
which is rooted in what?
In like I would say like around like Mexican like oldies, well Chicano oldies, I guess you would call it, like kind of like Al Green, Smokey Robinson,
Oh.
like lowrider oldies kind of stuff. And I love that stuff, man. I mean, obviously I grew up listening to it, so that and metal, you know, hardcore and stuff
What
like
kind
that.
of metal? You're listening to some new metal, some old metal. I mean, not new metal.
Sure.
Corn.
Corn. Nah,
I mean,
nah,
fuck,
man.
dude. I love me some Corn.
Yeah, like
I'll tell you what. If we pull up my iTunes right now,
Yeah.
within the last at least 20 listens, Corn.
nice. Fuck yeah,
Absolutely.
man.
But they're old stuff. So cliche to say they're old stuff. But
Sure.
honestly, I loved that when I was in high school, man. I loved it.
Nice,
but
man.
Side note. Anyway.
I mean, like, dude, it's like I'm rocking a fucking Toxic Holocaust shirt. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I was like, so yeah, dude. I mean, I'm listening to that kind of stuff. You know, like Behemoth. Fucking the latest Madball record was pretty sick.
oh, really? I
Yeah.
haven't. See, I do like Madball, but I did not know that they had a new record out.
Yeah, dude. There's a song with Ice-T on it. That's pretty
Really?
badass. Yeah, dude.
Oh.
So it's pretty sick. So yeah, I've been bumping
A
that
little
a lot.
Cop Killer throwback.
Yeah.
Body count shit.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that Ice Pick stuff. You know what I mean? It's like-
Nice.
yeah,
That's
it's-
cool.
It's pretty sick,
I'm
man.
gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, man. So
Shit. Well, that's awesome.
what about you, Crow? What are you listening to these days, man?
You know what, man? I used to listen to a lot of like power metal and like thrash metal, but lately I went back and just started hearing a lot of like the old shit, like fucking Dio and like Black Sabbath and like
Fuck yeah.
even going back to like the 60s. Like I've been listening to a lot of like John Fogerty from like Creedence and shit like that.
Have you guys
Mostly.
noticed? Because you're going to that like 70s stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you're following the trend. I absolutely don't think you are. But have you noticed? Because when you guys started, when Hell Camino started, roughly the same time, you guys had like maybe a few year, 3, 4, or 5 year jump on us. I don't know exactly. I think we were 13 years ago we started,
Okay.
and you guys were what 17, 18 years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
So everything hits LA a little bit sooner than it hits Hawaii when it's coming from that direction.
Sure.
When we started doing that shit, there was a band before us, and like basically my mentor guitarist was this guy Rye Bradley. He's
Okay.
actually doing really cool shit. He's got really cool shit on iTunes. I hang out with him whenever I go to Orange County, but unfortunately he just moved to Nashville, so it's gonna be
Gotcha.
a little bit longer. But the best guitar player I've ever known.
Mhm.
He just, and his style is just so rockabilly before I was into rockabilly, and then he started getting into country. Anyways, Hell Camino started, and nobody else was really playing psychobilly in Hawaii.
Mhm.
There might have been a band before us, but I never heard of them.
Mhm.
as far as I know, we were the first, and I don't care about being the first. I just,
Sure.
as far as I know, we were.
Yeah.
And there was a couple that popped up after,
Okay.
and I don't think anybody's still holding on to it though. You know
Sure.
now. But what I do notice is that I was about 22 maybe when the band started, and we're doing all this 50 throwback stuff.
Sure.
Now all the 20-year-olds, they're doing a 70s throwback.
I have seen that.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I have.
Is that popping in LA?
Yeah, you know what? Definitely. I think because what was it like? It's like what we were talking about earlier. Like no one's really buying CDs, but people are buying fucking vinyl like crazy. Tapes are starting to make a comeback.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people are
That
buying.
drives
tapes.
me crazy.
I'm
but
like, dude,
yeah.
are you for reals? I
Yeah,
was like,
they
man,
are.
I was like, you guys
Yeah.
are fucking tapes. You know what I mean?
See, we're on the same wavelength
Yeah,
on that.
dude.
Like, are you crazy? But oh, people are doing it. Like, I'm like,
yeah, man.
shh. In my wildest nightmare, do I think should I put out a tape?
Right.
I'm not going to do
Yeah,
it.
trust me, because I
but
even thought about it too. I'm like, fuck. I was like, should we do some tapes or fuck it? Let's do some 8 tracks too.
That's exactly what
You
I
know what I'm
fucking
saying?
say, dude.
It's like,
I'm
fucking
like,
hey, man.
How about we just do an 8? Like, nobody's gonna press an 8 track, and nobody's gonna have a player.
Yeah, man.
But I think the thing is still. I had a buddy tell me. He goes, the tape thing is because it's cool,
Mhm.
and people want something to have.
Sure.
He told me there's bands out there that are pressing tapes
Mhm.
with their actual stuff on it, and then dunking them in wax, and then selling them. And you sell that, and that's just a piece of merch at that point,
Sure.
because you would have to melt the wax and
to fucking play the tape.
figure it out. But I think he's
That's
completely
fucking
ruined
strange,
it
man.
at that point. But it's all about digital downloads.
Sure.
You got to be on iTunes and you got to be on Spotify,
Definitely, man.
right? Which you guys are.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I got it. Do you guys see money from that?
Yeah, you know what we do? I mean, it's granted, it's not a lot, but obviously, you know, like the more hits that we get or the more plays that we get
Right.
on Spotify, then obviously the money's higher. But yeah, for the most part, man, like we really see more of that stuff. I mean, as far as that side goes, it's like the only way to really make it as a band is like you got to tour, man. You got to tour and your
Yeah.
merch, because I mean, record labels don't really do anything for you that you can't do for yourself. Obviously, it's a different day and age now. You know what I mean, with all these media platforms. You know, even getting on Spotify is pretty easy.
How do you guys? Because again, being from Hawaii, everything is so skewed.
Mhm.
A lot of younger bands out here, I hear them talk about like, let's go on tour,
Mhm.
like, and I'm just so, why? Because you don't understand. You're gonna have to go on at least 6, 8 tours
Mhm.
in 2 years before people start to remember you. I mean,
Sure.
think about it. If you're playing in your home market,
Mhm.
how often can you play? You can play once a month.
Sure.
You can't do that on tour. You can't play other people's markets once a month. So if you played at home 4 times a year, people would kind of start to follow you.
Sure.
Maybe, right? So if you toured 4 times a year, people would kind of start to follow you. People just got this romanticized idea about touring.
Yeah, and I think also too, like what it comes down to, it's like, you know, when you play too often in the same area or like the area that you're from, you kind of do see a decline of attendance, because
Yeah, you
it's like,
water that shit down.
yeah, because then it's people's like, oh, well, you know what, they're playing next weekend, we'll watch them next weekend, or you know what, they're playing next month here with this band, and I want to see that band too, so
Bingo.
we'll just wait until then. So we've cut down our playing locally, like in our area, quite a bit, man. Just because, you know, I think it makes it more fun or more like special when we do play, like locally, because then like all these people that we haven't seen in a while come out, and like the shows have been great, man. You know what I mean? As far as like hitting the road goes, once we have the new record out, we'll definitely be hitting the road. Get back out there, go to a lot of places that have been like good to us. And
You guys ever think of going to Japan?
yeah, man. Actually, yeah, we've talked with one of our friends from Dice for Lights. It's a psychobilly band that's out there in Japan. We talked about doing some stuff together. We did a tour with them a couple years ago, and so we still keep in contact. They're good friends of ours. So we talked about making our way that way.
I think Japan is. You guys have done Europe. I think Japan's even better. The reception.
Oh yeah, man. Those guys in any kind of genre of music, they always take it at the next level, man. You know what I mean? Metal,
it's-
punk, psychobilly, you name it.
Yeah, it's so fun. I only did it once, so I can't, I'm no authority on this, but it just, people showed up, and the thing is like, I did go to a couple more shows. The last couple times I went to Japan, I was able to see the China Wife Motors again, which
Nice.
homies you guys know.
Sure.
And God, they're so great. If you haven't heard of the China Wife Motors, check them out. They're such a rad, just rock and roll on the verge of punk rock, screamy a little bit, but just such a groovy band, man. I love them so much, and the sweetest dudes in the world.
Yeah, man.
And you go to a China Wife Motors show, or I actually got to see why is the name escaping me right now? I got to the Menzingers.
Okay.
I got to see the Menzingers when I was in Japan. And one of the coolest things that I noticed is when you're in another country, and especially Japan, you end a song, clap, 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 silence. Like, they're ready for you to say some stuff. Like,
nice.
so
like
if
address
you-
the crowd, huh?
if you're doing your thing, if you're a seasoned touring band, and you're going song, 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 whatever, and then break, they're not chattering again. They're not chattering to their friend. They're not
Yeah.
looking on their phone.
What's
They're
ne- or
there
like,
for
hey,
the
like, what's
actual
next?
experience.
Sure, man. And you know what, like with us too, I mean, like, especially being a band, as long as we've been, we've kind of learned like our little things, like here and there, like, just kind of how to work with the crowd, you know what I mean, and how not to take yourself so serious, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, because like even at the last show we played with Coffin Cats over at Alex's Bar in Long Beach.
Love
Sold
that
out
place.
show, man. Sold out
Love
show,
that
super
place.
packed. And in between the song, I was just like, all right, this next song right here, I'm gonna send it out to my boy Nipsey Hussle, R.I.P. You know what I mean? Like, because it was something that had just happened.
Yeah.
But I could tell a couple of people in the crowd were sour about it. They're kind of like, oh, like kind of like too soon kind of bullshit. And I'm like, you know what? I was like, dude, don't be so fucking PC, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not.
Yeah, it's hard.
I mean, a couple of people laughed because they thought I said it as a joking thing. You know what I mean?
But it didn't. I mean, maybe it was just not a joke. Maybe it didn't have to be a joke.
Yeah, man. And it's just like, dude, I was like, you know what? I was
wasn't.
like, I was like, man,
Definitely not a joke.
I was like, you guys take it however you guys want, man. You know what I mean? But I could tell like some people were like they just gave me like this dirty look.
That's the day and age we're in, man.
Fucking A,
People,
man.
Oh, it's rough. I feel like I have this conversation almost every other day with somebody just about who is talking about. I don't even keep them in my brain anymore. The amount of references I get, like, oh man, this, I don't want to be a millennial hater, but blah 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 blah. It's
Sure.
like,
Yeah, man.
that's hard.
But it's just, I mean, like I said, it's a way to interact with the crowd. You know what I mean? Just to kind of, it really does build the experience, or if you could get the crowd to kind of laugh a little bit too, it kind of makes them feel a little bit more comfortable too. And not only that, but it makes it a little bit more comfortable for yourself because you're the one with the spotlight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I did this a year ago. My band Rats with Cat.
Mm-hmm.
We decided, kind of on the sideline, that we were gonna do a little fake, like East Coast West Coast like kind of thing, right? Like,
Sure.
where now I'm just giving it away because I want to do it again.
Sure.
But basically, it was like a little like a thing where we'd just like talk shit on a local band,
Mhm.
and then they would talk shit back to us.
Sure.
But the whole thing got out of control, and then like,
Fucking Christ.
so we told one of the guys in the band, like, yo, you want to do this? And he was like, yeah, let's do it. And we're like, cool, let's do it. We started doing it, and then he didn't inform the rest of his band. The rest of his band got pissed. They're like,
Aw,
yo, what the
shit.
fuck? Why you guys talking shit? And we're like, because it was okay.
We're supposed to, like,
never
I
mind.
thought we were on the same
never
page.
mind. But
How
I see
funny,
comedians
dude.
do that all the time.
Yeah, not sure.
And it's
man.
really fun. Like that whole roasting thing,
Mhm.
that whole like keeping people on their toes. Like, wait, are these guys serious or are they
Yeah,
not serious?
man.
Like, I don't think I could ever try to take myself seriously when I'm on stage.
It's like, why, man?
I don't
It's
have
like,
anything to say, first of all. But if I did have anything to say, it'd just be garbage.
Sure. It's like, to me, it's like, hey, man, it's like, we're all just here to have a good time, man. Like, at the end of the day, like, don't let this like ruin your day, man, off of something that someone said, dude. It's like, it's cool, man. But yeah, I mean, like I said, like, I don't ever see us like not doing Black Rose Phantoms. You know what I mean? We've been very fortunate to meet a lot of great people, a lot of great bands. You know what I mean? So it's always nice to go out on the road and see friends we don't get to see like all the time. So that's always a treat for us too, man. So
Tell me this, and this is just like completely on a different thing. So
Sure.
like, because we can talk about music forever.
word.
If somebody came up to you and they're like, "I'll give you anything you want," and I'll tell you mine first,
Sure.
just so you get a second to actually
Yeah.
think about it, because I feel like I put somebody on the spot before and they're like, "I don't know." If you could get anything you wanted without being refused, what would it be? So basically, mine, and I said this before, so I'm not going to elaborate too much, but I would want to know everything
Mm-hmm.
for 5 minutes before I die, because I feel like it'd be an overload,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like if you knew everything, you would probably kill yourself immediately.
Sure.
Just you would know every single thing
Yeah.
that has ever. But that's my dream. Like, because I think it's because I grew up religious, and I think there was this stem. Like, I grew up Mormon, right?
Sure.
And there was this thing like, once you die, you'll understand God's plan, blah 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 blah, right? That's been a long time since I've walked away from that.
Gotcha.
But the idea that someday I would be able to know the
Everything.
reason why everything happened.
Sure.
So if there was one thing that you could say, Ozzy, you can have anything you want. You won't be refused. You get to ask this one thing. It's almost like the genie in the lamp.
Okay. For me, it would hands down to have my mom back
Oh,
easily, dude. Easily.
ouch.
You know what I mean? Yeah, hands down. Right away, that's like a no-brainer for me. Like for me, if I could choose one thing, it'd be to have my mom back,
Ouch. That's rough.
and that's that, man.
That went a different direction than I was expecting.
Yeah, man. Straight up. I mean,
When-
that's yeah.
How long has this been?
03 actually.
Yeah.
Yes, it's 03, man. So
Wow.
I mean, I think my life would have been way different, man. But you know, all you can do is play the cards you get dealt, man. You know what I mean?
I feel like that's that community that you and Kat kind of grew up in. Like,
Mhm.
well, I don't know exactly where you grew up, but
It's in the South Bay, Long
pretty
Beach, man.
close.
Mhm.
Yeah, very, very family oriented.
Yeah, man.
It's kind of like a Southern Californian Mexican thing,
Mhm.
right? Like,
Sure.
without, I don't know, speak out of school or anything, but I feel like that's what I've noticed from the people that I've known have been mostly Mexican, because the band I was in, the friends I had,
Mhm.
yeah, very, very family oriented.
Yeah, man.
Shoot, it sounds like they're starting to make noise downstairs. The show's about to start, so I don't want
Yeah.
them to. I'm not sure how
Play-
that's gonna sound.
I know, right?
on
Play
this.
over us.
But
Word, man.
give us where people can find you. You know, on Instagram, Twitter, Spotify,
Sure, sure.
iTunes, Facebook.
I mean, Facebook and Instagram, it's The Black Rose Phantoms. Spotify, it's the same thing. The Black Rose Phantoms. Got any handles you want to plug? Your artwork?
Just pretty much. Just the band pages, pretty much.
Yeah, that's about it, man. Just Instagram, Facebook.
No personals. You're
Uh,
lucky if you find their personals, I guess.
Yeah. We got the art of Crow Phantom. Check
Yes.
it out. He does a lot of our artwork.
Smart art
Oh
page.
shit, that's right. Fuck. Actually, yeah, that shit is fucking amazing, man.
Yeah, so check
Thanks.
that out.
Yeah, I guess we're not going to touch on that, but actually, yeah, he did all the posters for this. I was actually wanting to hit you up maybe for some artwork, so
Yeah,
So-
let me know, man.
Do it. That's the man.
yeah, man. Well, thank you guys for taking a little time to come do this. I
Dude.
appreciate it.
Nick, thanks for having us, man. And again, thank you for bringing us out as well. So we
Automatic.
appreciate you, man.
Oh, big shout out to Kat too for
That's
all
right.
of this.
Cat.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
wouldn't
homie.
like, he was the one who sparked this whole thing. So
Yeah, definitely,
straight
man.
up. Right on, you guys.
All right, brother. Cheers, man.